Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is? Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And for those of you who like these type of videos, please remember to click like down below. Let's help keep the likes higher than the dislikes. But you guys have seen the news stories, newest study that came out, everywhere everybody's talking about it. And that is that the data is showing that by 2030, 50% of Americans will be obese. That's freaking scary. Come on, guys, I'm patriotic. I got my flag in the background. We got to fix this problem. All right, this is not good. This is not good. And for me, as someone who is a fitness professional and a strength coach, that's really frightening. It's really frightening. And here's what I want to say. I honestly and really and truly believe that strength training is our solution. We have to get more people resistance training. And people are going to say, why, Jason? Well, let's come over to the points in a minute. Number one, at least a lot of the weight they gain will be muscle. All right, that matters. That matters a lot for health outcomes. The data is overwhelming. Muscle itself is protective of a lot of the health problems that we have. Okay? This whole idea, well, thinner people live longer, that's not necessarily true. Thinner people actually have higher rates of dementia and other stuff. They have a lot of other separate problems. They have osteoporosis. They have higher rates of dementia, so on and so forth. Strength is protective against these things. Physical strength is associated with being resilient against these things. Against osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, Alzheimer's, dementia, all those things. Then we can come over to the other stuff. Muscle and strength training are protective against cancer, diabetes, heart disease. In fact, the latest data shows that strength training is slightly better than cardiovascular training for preventing heart disease, if you only did one or the other. Now, before people jump up and get angry at me stating that, the data shows that if you do both, it's a little bit better, actually. There is actually carryover if you do both. That's actually your best outcome, is to do both. But if you only did one, strength training seems to be slightly better. It inches out cardio. And that's what the data is showing. This is the medical data, the research. Again, lowers cancer rates by 50%. Obesity causes cancer. People don't seem to be aware of that. A lot of people are not aware of that obesity itself can be a driver of cancers. So let's come over to the point. At least they'll have more muscle because the food's not going away. The issue that we have that causes this is partially sedentary lifestyles, but that's not entirely true. There are plenty of people who have physically demanding jobs who are obese. It's one factor. Other factor is people are tired. Well, they're tired from stressful jobs and then access to hyperpalatable foods. Okay, the hyperpalatable foods, calorically dense hyperpalatable food, that we could be using in theory for training fuel or to gain muscle mass, it could help us with this stuff, tends to make us fatigued over time because of the insulin resistance and other stuff with it. So what ends up happening is that we have access to all this junk food. The junk food's not going away, guys. It is not going away in America. Our solution has to be to offset the damage. Problem with the hyperpalatable foods. We have foods that are very calorically dense. Calories in, calories out is a time-proven, stood the test of study after study after study. Okay, it's true. You're not going to debunk that. Calories in, calories out is what determines your body weight, period. We have calorically dense food. There's a ton of calories in a small amount of food. They're also hyperpalatable. They taste good. It makes them even easier to overeat. What causes that? It's usually when you combine sugar with fat and salt. Okay, those are our big three. When you start combining any two of those three together, sugary foods, because people say, well, yeah, the sweets, yeah, sugar, refined sugar is a major problem. But nobody's eating a bag of sugar, right? No one is sitting out here eating a 2,000 calorie bag of sugar. When we mix it into all this other stuff, we create hyperpalatability with caloric density. Okay, the sugar makes it taste really good. You stack that in with a bunch of fat, butter, and whatever else. Okay, this creates a disaster. Because now we're hitting those sweet taste buds and the fat taste buds. And it's got a higher caloric density because of all the fat. Fat itself isn't even that bad. I mean, I follow an extremely high fat diet. Not refined fats, though. Not refined fats. I don't eat any refined food. But we come over to the issue. Calorically dense, hyperpalatable foods. Easy to overeat. The problem we have, then we overeat all these foods and then we have all the large amounts of sugar and refined carbs and they're causing insulin resistance. That makes us tired. It makes us lethargic. If you already have a stressful job, elevates cortisol and everything else. The very last thing you need to do is create insulin resistance of any type. Why? It's going to make you more tired. The resistance training will offset much of that. Will it stop it completely? No. But if we resistance train, why does resistance training prevent diabetes and cancer? It increases insulin sensitivity more than anything else you can possibly do. It actually does it even better than a good diet. Okay? The weight training, strength training can offset this. If we get everybody strength training, and I'm talking almost the whole country, it will offset those negatives. People won't be as lethargic and fatigued from their crappy diet. And I want to make this point again. At this point, unless we have a major cultural shift, the bad diet's not going away. We need to be saying, okay, what can we do to offset it? And that's why I'm saying the strength training is the key. We have to get people lifting weights. We can offset the insulin resistance and the bad diet. We can turn more of the calorie surplus into muscle. And we raise energy turnover. People who lift weights not only burn more calories at rest, we're converting more of the surplus calories into muscle. The higher muscle mass creates more NEAT. The improved insulin sensitivity causes more activity in general. Therefore, people's total energy turnover will be higher. Therefore, they will still end up weighing less from the overeating. It'll also help control the appetites better of, again, the negative downside of fluctuating blood sugar, a little less lethargy. People will end up eating slightly less. They will end up burning slightly more with still access to the same foods. It's not a fix. It's not a fix, but the dietary factor is not going to go away. We have to get people strength training. Okay? You have to get people strength training. And I'm not saying people are still not going to be obese as a demographic because of the foods they're eating doing this, but it will dramatically offset it. It will offset it dramatically. And they're still going to end up being healthier while carrying the extra body fat. They'll carry a little less body fat, a little less body weight, more muscle. It will offset the negatives to some degree, even for the people who are still obese. Okay? In other words, we have to go from obese to beast. That's the solution. Get people weight training. We have to go from obese to beast. And the beauty of it is that weight training itself is a relatively small time commitment once you get used to it. Right? I'm not telling people to come in and do endless sets of curls. We need to get them under heavy movements, big movements. We've got to get people under big movements. Then what are the perks to all that? If we build stronger cores, stronger hips, stronger backs from doing big exercises, what happens? Again, a lot of the downsides to being overweight structurally that weigh down on your body, we can also offset those. Okay? This is our best solution. This is the best solution. We have to create a culture of strength training across the entire country. We have to. We've got to promote it. Okay? Because the food's not going away. Not going away anytime soon. We have too much of a culture based around junk food, hyper-palatable, calorically dense foods. At the very least, if we can get people strength training on a consistent, regular basis, weight rooms everywhere, right? Get weight rooms everywhere. Promote even body weight resistance training. Create a culture of that. Start teaching it in schools. Promote it more on TV, movies, right? We've got to push this. This is your solution. It's the solution until we as a country decide we're just not going to eat junk food, or our government quits subsidizing corn so that we have excess high fructose corn syrup. Until we get rid of this whole fast food, junk food culture that we have, Our best solution is to get people under a barbell in as large a numbers as possible. We make strength training popular again. And then again, at the very least, we go from obese to beast. Hey, at least we'd be the strongest country in the world at that point. Because, I mean, again, good way to get real strong is to eat a lot of food and lift some heavy weight. It works. That's my solution. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.